Just wait on the clear button here. Okay, it looks like we're all set here. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is February 8th, 2023. Happy Wednesday. As we're in our midweek session, we'll get a quick look at where we sit as far as the SPX volatility for the week. Yesterday provided some interesting price activity coming off of the Fed head Jerome Powell's press conference. Fairly, I would say, obvious questions to kind of kick off the interview, and a lot of price volatility following some of the relative tone and responses. But all in all, the market did close quite strong, and we actually saw a significant move through last week's close, kind of relevant for continuation purposes, along with the fact that we're seeing essentially some confirmation that we're still holding a lot of our trend structure on the market. If we do continue to see some upside, the SPX expected move gives us a sense of where to target for the week. And because of our expected move range being outside of our price pivot range, I'll be looking for about 4,200 if we do see follow through and continuation this week, with the understanding that a lot of our daily uptrend is based around price. And due to the fact that we now have a confirmed daily higher low with, the higher high potential in place, a lot of the risk is based around yesterday's close. So if we're looking at some of the liquidity levels for the market as we kind of move forward, the concept around trend trading and potentially the idea that this could continue higher is going to be based around whether or not we see that price confirmation, and certainly breaching to a new high would be that that full confirmation of the move. However, as I kind of move into the SPY, what we're starting to notice is the confluence that was present based around the discussion of the June 2022 balance range. This is an SPY area of price that has often been quite challenging for directional trade, especially if you're thinking in swing trading terms or just overnight holds. What we're starting to see, at least off of the highs, is a lot of the resistant levels from June are still quite in effect as of today. Yesterday, of course, was a very strong session, but it does have the inclination of trading in balance due to the fact of the wide overall spread of the candle and just the acceleration from a relative low on the session, especially with some pretty wide volatility. So as I mentioned before, we've marked the levels for this particular range. If you wish to have those a little bit more accurately delineated, the low that I have currently, it's not coming up, 406.96. That's just that absolute daily low that was printed. Okay, for some reason it moved. 406.93, that absolute low that was printed on June 1st. And then I have two relative highs. One's an after-hour pre-market high that sort of represents the total high or the absolute high before we got into balance. And then I have an intraday high, which has actually been a little bit more precise. If you were to mark these particular prices, the after hours high at 417.84, just double check that. Nope, not quite right. 87. And then the intraday high, which the reason I'm marking this one in particular and not future reactions is simply because this is when we became a balanced market. So those highs to me are establishing resistance versus any future movement are often tests. And therefore the tests should not necessarily be marked as the price levels of interest. Just to confirm again, 416.46 for the intraday high. And what I find so interesting is just, the idea that price has memory in certain marketplaces. This is kind of where we get TA concepts a lot of the time. And even throughout this type of volatility we saw yesterday, one of these levels reacting and sort of seeing the relative swing high for now, just kind of shows that there is some confluence here and a little bit of price respect for the market. So the question now is, what do we do with this type of marketplace? And I think we want to just be extremely careful with assumptions. For now, I'm sticking with the idea that the market's entering into a balance phase. The upthrust and just the overall bullish movement has kind of hit some relative extensions that I believe are more risky for bulls, but they're keeping the uptrend. So they're keeping the relative charts healthy, and it also keeps the general sentiment of the market quite healthy as well. A couple of stocks I also believe are trying to test specific prices, at which point the question then becomes, what's next? One in particular that's not necessarily dropping, but is also kind of at that extension is Tesla. Curious to see what does occur at 200. And obviously, if we breach it and move past it, there's quite a bit more upside potential because the resistance kind of evaporates at that point. But beyond those very minor sort of final moves, we're seeing a lot of our tech stocks either become fadeable candidates or not necessarily seeing the same momentum as we saw last week. The ones that maybe are standing out right now this morning are Microsoft and Apple. So that's kind of the caveat here. Microsoft did actually break out yesterday and is seeing a gap up open. These would be the ones that are kind of in focus because if they're going to carry the market forward, they're the right types of stocks to do so. The thing that concerns me is performance and what sort of relative behavior can those stocks have in this position. Interestingly, if we look at yesterday's trade, technology was relative outperformer. There's some overall strength even into that stronger S&P and NASDAQ close. The tech sector actually tracked a bit higher than the NASDAQ, but the real outperformance last session was energy. That's not normally where we'd expect that risk on behavior to come from. And yet energy still represents a fairly significant market cap for the SPY, especially some of the two leaders in the energy sector, Chevron and Exxon. So the combination of tech leadership, which is always going to be a bit of a benefit for bulls, just seeing the right sector outperform, but also very strong leadership in sort of a curious sector. Why is that one actually picking back up to the upside? And a lot of it's starting to come from what's happening in the dollar, at least from my opinion. What we're seeing is this rally back from the dollar, along with some of the reinflation, I won't necessarily call it de-inflation theme, but there's been a bit of a resurgence in some of the commodity trades. And oftentimes that initial demand will start to show itself in the crude market. What we're looking at here is just light sweet crude, just kind of tracking the crude futures. And once again, not necessarily an uptrending market, but also a stalled market, one that has been trading sideways for approximately the past 3 months. And I still don't understand why this trend line doesn't show right on the daily. But what's interesting about this area as well is just its confluence with the structure. I think a lot of sort of crude bears are looking at this area as an area to sort of reassess whether we're going to see a continuation for downside in the energy stocks, along with the fact that the demand in this area is starting to become stable. It's starting to become a bit more balanced in this region. As I mentioned before, this is also a historical price that I think crude often respects. It's approximately 77 a barrel in this particular product. Relatively massive inflection level historically, and oftentimes a stall point. Anytime there's sort of a high to low trade, prices tend to sort of swing into this along with through it if we're seeing something that's changing significantly. So I'm looking at this area, especially with what energy did yesterday, and I'm starting to ask myself whether energy now becomes a sector in focus, for the remaining, let's call it next month or two of trade. And when I look at the price chart, I start to also consider, how has it been holding throughout this period? Has it been net bullish, net bearish, somewhat stalled? And, certainly some price regions to consider are the ones marked currently on my chart. But I also look at the higher time frame. And what I see here is a structure that has potential for a pretty massive breakout in the future. A lot of sort of shorter term traders will recognize this structure. It's actually a bit of an ABCD in construction, due to the fact that we did draw down back in June and July. This is roughly the time when the supply demand metrics were starting to become skewed in the energy market. And since then, there was a recovery. We pulled up to our previous swing highs, and then we formed a higher low. And we're starting to base out here, essentially recapturing what was previously our stronger uptrending moving average. Just a return to the 50, sort of a mean reversion trade, and then now capturing back the uptrend of a previous cycle. So I've actually been a bit of a bear in the energy market, thinking that all-time high was going to essentially provide another sell swing. And what we've been noticing is, at least by price, this has had a lot of defense somewhere in the middle of our overall price range. So the technician in me is looking at this chart and saying this is actually quite a strong setup for some potential future breakouts in the energy market. The thing, of course, we'll need to see is some of that confirmation across some of the assets. And as we know, the natural gas market has been on a fairly steep decline. There's been a lot of interest in potentially catching some oversold bounces in this region, which, at least as of now, are starting to play out. But I also agree that due to the speed of this sell-off, we're getting some interesting volume readings as well. You'll notice as I kind of pull this chart out, the steepness here and some of the higher volume readings near the low end of this extension, along with the symmetry of the measured move. That's another interesting way to kind of anticipate where bounces might occur, especially when things are this steep. These are confluent with the idea that if we see a little bit of mean reversion in nat gas pricing, something as simple as recovering back to about 3 to 4 per contract, those moments combined with some return demand in the energy sector would provide enough fuel, let's say, for a possible energy sector breakout. Now, all that said, energy sector versus risk on type sectors, not necessarily, I would say, like disparaging for bulls. Having some strong sector outperformance in our indice products are going to keep this rally healthy, and oftentimes just keep the sector rotation within the market, keeping the overall trend relatively stable. What it might do in the short term, however, is disrupt the price pattern. And that's where I could see how this balance range back in June might start to form, simply because we're not going to be necessarily having every bullish day be supported by just tech stocks, or in this case, communication, which has actually been one of the stronger outperformers as of this year. So be on the lookout for maybe like a slight lag in strength, strong sectors starting to essentially consolidate or represent more sideways based trading, while new outperformance comes in the form of not necessarily lagging sectors, but ones that have been setting up for a while. For example, just the drawdown in healthcare, I'd be looking for something as simple as clearing some MAs to start to essentially provide a new rally type structure. And once again, just the idea that it's setting up against the longer term moving averages. So just real simple kind of upthrust, pullback, continuation, the ABC type structure that we often look for, along with energies sort of like ABCD construction and reclaim of the 20 period on the weekly. So those are some sectors that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. I'm also starting to scout things like hype mania starting to die down. This was something that I noticed yesterday. When you start to see a sector or just an industry that's been hyped up and oftentimes starting to run parabolic, it can often provide FOMO. The first thing to kind of claim is parabolics are built in such a way that they actually move faster as they go higher. The price appreciation gets wider. Usually if you're early to these moves, you're trying to stay inside of this trade for as long as possible, because the top end is actually the quickest movement. You'll often see percentage movements much higher as it gets faster. But as traders, we know risk to reward is important too. And a lot of times as these moves are starting to top out, you can start to see opportunities back to the downside. One that was interesting yesterday is we actually saw what I believe to be a parabolic top for stocks like AI, which have been excellent sort of like swing trades and just core concepts for this type of hype mania, and just a return of a lot of interest in one single new sector or new idea entering into the market. The point, though, is never to be entering too late. Getting yourself trapped in a relatively poor risk to reward position. And oftentimes as traders, we can even find ways to kind of counter this. But you need to remember that it does require a little bit of setup here. And one thing that we saw yesterday was there was a bit of a short sell opportunity once we had our daily pivot being established on AI. So something as simple as just losing the parabolic high at the low, essentially changing how the structure of the chart looks and starting daily consolidation, a daily uptrend turning into more of a peak for that type of chart. So as this happens, you'll often see other candidates that were just kind of trading in sympathy having very similar price charts. In this case, another AI name that's been running quite well, BBAI, seeing that same overextension, parabolic top into a confirmed pivot back to the downside. And then the question then becomes, are other more blue chip stocks going to see any of that sort of, I would say, profit taking? Not to say that these are running on pure AI hype mania type performance, but if we see weakness in other AI names, there might be some potential pivoting and stall in these types of stocks, which have some of that correlation coefficient. So not to say that these two names are worth shorting at this point, but if we do see relative weakness here, or just a moment of stall, these two stocks could provide some of the lag that I was indicating with regard to tech stocks and communication stocks. So just wanted to show kind of where that idea is coming from, along with the thought thesis behind it. It's not necessarily just based on technicals, but some of the driving force behind these stocks sometimes will be seen in the riskiest names first, and then the price stability will also kind of trickle into larger cap names, or ones that are less inclined to be such fast, aggressive movers. So keep that in mind today. And also, look for that opportunity if you're ever in a trade that is running in such a fashion. Obviously, try your best to take advantage of the momentum. That's where most of the profitability is in the short term. But also, as a sort of shorter term trader, you can be looking and scouting for these relative tops, because the opportunity back down is often quite high as well, just because of the type of risk definition. If you're able to start to position higher for the short, or even just keep a tighter stop as we're breaking the pivot. And that's kind of what yesterday looked like for AI in particular. So those are a couple ideas for also trade today, as we're kind of seeing what the market's going to do for this balance range. I'm going to take a drink of water. I'm actually hitting a troubling area for my throat. So lots of kind of odd sector performance yesterday. Keep an eye on energy. Are we going to continue to see the right leadership to keep this rally ongoing? Or through balance, are we going to see some sector rotation? Some sectors leading, some lagging, leading to just sort of flat performance in the indices. And then where can we sort of expect that outperformance? I'm certainly looking at energy as a candidate. The thing that would need to kind of really confirm, we need to see probably a little bit better bounce off of nat gas. It was a nice move in the short term, but the pullbacks here are giving back quite a lot of that overall extension, or that pullback. Really what I'd like to see is a more healthy uptrend form in this region, of which we haven't quite discovered yet. So for now, the leading assets that would drive like an energy trade are still very much in downtrends. With each bounce comes the opportunity that new higher lows can form, and we could start to recover some of this price a little bit better, along with drive the outperformance in the energy stocks themselves. As long as the asset classes are moving higher, I would expect the energy stocks to also be moving higher and possibly breaking out on the sector ETF. So, and I guess last but not least, with the dollar discussion, I think there is potential for a gold trade in this market. You'll notice that gold reacted severely to what the dollar is doing. That inverse correlation is still true in this market, and that was one of the main fears in this region is price was getting a little too ahead of itself with how the dollar's weakness was a little bit precipitous. Gold has corrected, a little bit of a mean reversion back here. And while I'm not necessarily looking for another relative high in gold, I think you could start to plan around some accumulation strategies here, just kind of buying into this dip region. Or you could start to plan around selling premium in gold. Volatility is not necessarily the highest thing, something like the gold ETF, but they do have a little bit of a higher overall IV rating and percentile as of late due to some of the volatility that we saw. It actually has come down quite a bit. So maybe not quite ready yet, but there's definitely going to be some opportunity here. I'm not necessarily all out short gold in this moment, but there was sort of a risk reversal type trade off that high. And at this point, I'd either be scouting for some sort of bounce structure or possibly like a range to form back into our larger value zones, at which point we could look for neutral strategies for gold. So, and trying to think if there's anything else to kind of pay attention to, but all in all, like if we're looking for thesis ideas today, a couple people asking continuation or what, the range is what I'm looking at. I don't expect us to make a new high today. I'm willing to be surprised as always. But even if we do make a new high, keep in mind the type of volatility we can see here, even with a very mild high, something that's just a couple points over the swing. Things can change very quickly. And I think whenever you have sector rotation occurring, a market is more inclined to trade sideways, just to allow for profit taking in the strength sectors, money flow to kind of return to some of the more beaten down sectors, and really just repositioning to go on. When we look at the indices, that's usually when this trade gets noisy. And it can often be quite challenging for those who are unprepared for it. Remember as well that this is not just the SPY. This is the NASDAQ too. I haven't really marked the NASDAQ's levels, but it's the same range. So if you're asking for, am I a bull today? I'm a bull with a lot of caution. These upper levels are tricky because if they swing against you, the downside risk is essentially 10 points. So be aware of that, kind of trade cautiously into these levels and keep the trend in mind, but remember that we can swing pretty far down and still keep our trend. Sideways trading is still technically trend, it's holding. So with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Stay tuned for Pre-Market Prep. We'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Let's see here. All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, my friend. Doing all right. Um, just hold on a second. I just think he's coming off here. Doing okay, man. Can't complain. Looking forward to our trading day today. Yesterday morning was a little rough. Got good at the end, towards the middle of the day and later. After Powell, right? So we'll see if today we can get some of that volatility into the market early
Yeah.
on. So looking forward to that. But what a great day, yes, as far as the finish of it. And there was just so much going on. I didn't trade the afternoon, but I enjoy people coming and saying, "Hey, the minute he's walking up to the mic, the stock is already moving. He hasn't said a word." So it's just hilarious how some of this works out. Um, all right, guys. With that said, let's take a look at our gappers list today. Right now, at the moment, we got a little stuff on both sides of the field here. Many names that are not familiar or that at least do not trade well, like GNS is on here, TAL, OSH. I mean, just a bunch of stuff that are not great intraday trading tickers at the moment. So we will look through this and see what we can find, and see if we can get a nice list off of this. If you guys remember, yesterday's list was very, very tight, and I'll show you that in a second. And then here towards the gap down, not a whole lot going on either. Stuff from yesterday that we had on deck, and I'm gonna keep these again because I think they're just gonna be so explosive. We have Meta. Meta's daily looks insane. Here, it's just I'm impressed with the fact that they're holding here and trying to push higher. This could be fun if they can actually get going. We have Tesla here as well, and look at Tesla again, pushing up against this 197. So I mean, this stock looks to be as if it wants to be explosive, guys. So looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a great one. And then we also have AMD and Nvidia, both the same, pretty much a good daily as well. So yeah, looking good there, guys. Let's head over to our community. No, not so fast. Let's head over to our market pulse first and see what's going on with some of the news we have for today.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing is we've got a sorry that the writing here is skipped and put it on the line below. It's supposed to say various. But we've got a ton of Fed speeches today. I believe there are five that were in my notes. They're sprinkled throughout the day instead of putting the individual time because almost every there's going to be somebody speaking almost all day long. So um, we got wholesale inventories at 10 a.m. But like I said, other than that, we've got Fed speakers sprinkled throughout the day. So we'll see what they have to say and how that moves the market.
All right, excellent. We'll see how things react to that. Here, guys, let's get to our gappers list. See what we got going on this morning. I'm gonna keep these three here. I think again they're looking very good this morning. I like Meta, I like Tesla, I like the daily on both, and I think they got some real good potential. Let's see what's on our gappers list. DAO this morning. Oh, let's link our trade ideas. 1 second, guys. This is extremely helpful to go through this. Okay, so here it is. DAO this morning. Let's see what we got going on here. 35 million shares float. Not looking too hot right now. You got one initial gap of 18%. Yeah, you Dao is the name of this. Sounds foreign. Um,
You
I'm not.
think?
Yeah, right. So again, not a fan of it right now. It's up 18%. I just don't see anything great on it. Yeah, we're going to skip on this for now, unless we have any crazy news that's worth watching it.
I
Um,
have no crazy news, Carlos.
all right, so we'll leave it alone. Men U, right? So it's the day of views. We had that. We have you Dow today. Now we have Man U here. And this one here does not look great neither, guys. At 14%, not a whole lot of volume. Let's skip on down to the next one. FTNT, we've seen this before. Probably on one of these gap down days here. I do recall the ticker wasn't a great one. This is 647 million. Looks like they might have had some news last night, maybe earnings. Yeah, looks like earnings last night. So
Yeah.
that's what's popping them up. It's not a great intraday ticker. We saw this a couple of months back, and it wasn't great. I don't expect today to have anything significant neither. BBAI, and this is a 7.2 million shares flow. Again, anything with AI has been really hot the last couple of weeks, really. So BBAI here still doing some action. Not a great trader. I think there's better ones. If you want to trade something like this, I think AI is probably a better trader. if you want to go this route. So this one here, guys, you can see it up 1.6. I didn't have it on my list yesterday, but it looks like, again, I haven't really watched this closely enough to see how their price action is. The first couple of days, it wasn't all that fun. But this continues to get volume, 52 million. So that's significant. So not sure if any of you guys have been watching this one, if it has been trading well. But this pre-market, this not pre-market, this daily activity yesterday looked pretty decent. So maybe it could be something that we can look a little closely. I am going to have it on my secondary list, which I have it already. Let's get rid of some of these, by the way. Let's clean this up. There we go. I'll put it on my secondary list. I had it yesterday, but I didn't look at it. AI, here we go. And let's see what happens there. And then what else we have? ENPH. No, ENPH is no good. Up 8.2. Yeah, earnings, I assume. Yeah, earnings last night as well. You know what? We used to trade this. We went to that phase where energy was going insane at one point, EV stuff. And this was one of the ones that actually traded a little decent. But since then, it hasn't really done anything. So not sure on it. On the fence, guys. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. EMPH. That could be a good energy play for today. BBAI, we looked at Uber this morning. Uber earnings on Uber?
Yeah,
yes. All
they
right.
blew out earnings too.
Yeah.
I showed they were estimated to lose 21 cents, and they actually made 29 cents. Their
Oh, okay.
revenues
That's a
were
nice
higher
shocker.
than expected as well, so it was quite a surprise.
All right, that's a nice situation to be in this morning. I'll add it here, and let's hope they can do something. But from experience,
Yeah,
many
not the greatest
times,
intraday trader.
oh, it's brutal. Let me shut this down here. It is a brutal intraday trading ticker. Let's see. We'd love to see it do something. 4 million, up 7.4, has everything going for it, has the earnings, has good earnings, blew out their expectation. I mean, everything is just rocking and rolling for it. Let's see if it can do something today. I highly doubt it though. EQ and R, not a good one. We've seen this plenty of times. Trace horrible. Looks like earnings this morning, but again, not much going on as far as volume. TAL is no good. OSH is also, these are all garbage tickers that don't trade very well. So be very careful, very light on volume. GNS just keeps making its way here to our gappers list somehow. And again, just not looking good here. And by the way, speaking of gappers, guys, mastering the open gaps up and down. We had that webinar yesterday by Brian. Really, really good. The recording is probably going to be up later. But yeah, definitely catch that webinar in the Education Center. Some really good information that he put together there for us. So take advantage of that. Here's Live Sympathy, I assume.
Yep.
And they report tomorrow after hours. So we'll see what they do, but they're getting a sympathy pop this morning. And then we have Baba, but I'll skip CVS. It's really no good. Doesn't trade very well. It looks like earnings this
CVS had
morning.
earnings, but I agree they usually don't trade very well.
Yeah, they're bad. Even with news. Baba's capping up this morning. What do we have on it? Any news? I don't see anything on Baba, but it's got a nice gap up today.
Yeah, it's got AI related news and them
okay.
developing a chat GPT type of thing.
Smart move, going with what's hot. All right, so let's add Baba here. I like the volume, 1.1 million up 2.2. So definitely going to have it here. Yes, so we had the webinar yesterday for Brian. So usually recording, we already sent it over to IT team. They'll take about a couple of hours. So by noon today, even before that, but I guarantee you by noon it'll be up in the Education Center, and you guys can watch that. It'll be a lot sooner probably, but just that's good for sure by noon.
It's already there, brother.
Oh, look at that. It's already there. These guys are working some crazy hours to get it done. Excellent. All right, so here's Baba, guys, looking good this morning. I like that. I like the volume. Let's see what's gapping down. CPRI. This is down 20%, 388,000. Oh, Capri Holdings. We've seen this before. And
yeah,
it trades
Capri had earnings this morning. Yeah, it trades terribly.
Yeah, it trades very light, unfortunately. XPOF this morning, they are down 11%. Also very, very light volume, so I'm not interested in that. DT down 6.7. I don't see anything great on this daily neither. It just looks very light on volume at the moment. NVIX.
News of a secondary on DT, so
okay. So yeah, not even a great catalyst there. D teaches a couple of maybe one block trade or so, nothing happening. ATVI is down 3.5. What do we have for these guys? They usually don't. They moved a lot the last couple of days.
They had earnings a couple of days ago.
Okay, okay. Look at the drop they had here, the pop, and then back
Yeah,
down
they're
again.
still
So
just in a little bit of craziness.
yeah, yeah.
And they've got regulatory issues going on. Microsoft's supposed to take them over, and some
Okay,
issues. So
okay. All right, so this could be interesting, guys. 4.7 million shares traded, down 3%. I like the action we're getting here in the last couple of days. Let's take a look at what it does today. Here's Google dropping a little bit. It's a SPY heading south. The bear is taking control. Not quite, but Google seems to have something going on right now for sure. Are they? What's happening with them? Something's going on there. They're dropping quite a bit there, 2.8 at the
they had
moment.
something that kind of looked like decent news. They were talking about some AI things and stuff in France, but I don't
Hmm.
know what's dropped them right now. I'm not seeing it. Maybe something came out there. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, looks
It's
quite
so bad to
aggressive.
trade.
Yeah, I know, I know. Maybe with this news, it can do something, man. Um, they had like
It
one
looks
or
like it just broke in the last couple of minutes. So
yeah, yeah. Um,
Jared spoke about this apparently.
he did. I don't remember that him talking about it. Um,
I
all right, cool, man. But yeah,
just
let's but yeah, but that is
something's come out, and I just don't have the news yet on it. Apparently,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. But the AI thing should be good, not bad, right? So that's what you said. Like AI is
well, it
it's a good
wouldn't
thing.
drop
Yeah,
it immediately like that either.
right, right.
If even
So
if it was, so.
all right, let's see what's happening there. All right, so Google, I'm gonna add that one to the list here, guys. There's two versions of it. You can. I usually watch the GL one. Tends to get a little bit more volume. But they both get decent volume compared to different classes like CCL and what's the other one? CCL and CUK. CUK barely gets volume. Here's Baidu. Baidu, interesting pop here. They're down. Yesterday they're down today 2.2. So they kind of man, they're dailies all over the place. Look at this drop here. Popped up, sold back down, gapped up yesterday, and now we're slamming down here again. So very, very interesting daily. Yeah, I want to add this to the secondaries just to see. No, not that. I do. Here we go. And then right, it's horrible ticker. I'm not gonna spend no time on that. All right, that's our gap up and gap down, guys. There. Norm, is there anything you like this morning?
No, not yet.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take it to the room and see what you guys like as far as tickers here. So Cindy, you're giving us Disney. Let's take a look at Disney this morning. I like the daily on Disney. Do we have any news or anything going on? Volume is a little bit light, but I see what you're looking at. This daily does look a little bit explosive here. And Disney can trade well at times. You just need to get a
Earnings
decent
after the
volume.
close today. Maybe that's why it's being brought
Ah,
up. That having been
yeah.
said, I don't like to play it into earnings.
Yeah, yeah. That is interesting. So man, they had a hell of a run mid-December into now. So yeah, this will be good tomorrow. So I don't like playing on earnings day. I think it could be very choppy. You will get volume usually, but it can be choppy. But tomorrow this is in play. But nevertheless, this daily does look very nice, guys. So yeah, you know what? Maybe worth as a password. Why not? Worth as a password just to check what's going on there. Let's see here. Microsoft this morning. Let's see what's going on with Microsoft. Microsoft's been dropping. Oh, don't got the daily correctly. So here's Microsoft there again, doing very well. They're up 1.2 right now. Kind of dropping from the highs of 273 this morning. So yeah, it could be interesting. Could be interesting on Microsoft. But how are the other usual suspects doing today? Oh, not that great actually. Actually, Microsoft looks better than most of these. What about Nvidia? Um, hmm. Oh yeah, I like Microsoft. Yeah, they're looking much better than other stuff that we usually watch. So again, if AI stuff, right? Microsoft, Google. But yeah, Microsoft looks very, very nice this morning. Very, very active. Nvidia I just looked at, guys, does not look great. Besides the daily, so I think it's just kind of some sideways action for now. Let's see what happens later. But we'll be looking at Nvidia. We'll be looking at AMD. These are going to be in mind as we move forward here. I do have AMD here on deck, which actually I'm going to replace with Nvidia just because Nvidia looks much better at the moment, right? So yeah, Nvidia has a better daily, by the way, and seems to have a better pre-market activity at the moment. Okay, let's head on over to what's our YouTube chat, guys. What do you guys like this morning? What do you guys have? Meta, yeah, Meta's daily, man. I really like their daily here, and I like the run they have had in the last couple of days, and it just looks explosive, man. It looks like they want to keep going here. They're definitely extended, but I just think they got something going on that's working for them right now. Maria, you're giving us Oxy. Oxy's a good energy play. Had a big day yesterday. UNG also, everybody's been talking about UNG because I think they found the bottom, maybe. I don't know, but everybody's excited about this. So this is something that's been hot. So keep a lookout for this. So these energy plays are looking very, very active at the moment. Oxy's a good one. Out of all of them, Oxy I think is probably one of the better ones to trade. Not doing a whole lot right now. The pre-market could be very dull at times. They still give you a good opportunity, but again, I don't see it being better than some of the stuff I have on deck right now on the top list, right? Just at the moment. Billy has let us down too many times this this year and in a couple of weeks of last year. So it's made some moves here. Today's pre-market action, by the way, is not in play. But when they had a pre-market activity that looked like it was decent and it was going to be in play, it just traded horrible. Now I don't know if it was because the SPY was choppy at the same time, right? Maybe it wasn't trading well, but it hasn't really been one to really watch. So I'm not a fan of that one. Won't be adding them. Jade, I missed one here. SQL. What this do here? No, penny stock. So we don't really focus on. I remember this from yesterday. Yeah, more of a penny stock. We don't really focus on that. JWN Nordstrom. I know they have earnings coming up next week. No, actually March. No, never mind. But they don't trade well. They don't trade well at all. So I'm not excited about these guys one bit. So not gonna be watching that one. Does Tesla daily look more like it's going to break out or reverse? You know
It
what?
looks like it's going to break
Yeah,
out.
it is gonna break out.
That is a
Yeah.
classic breakout coming pattern on the daily. But like I said in the chat over there on YouTube, that doesn't mean it has to. It could easily,
Yes.
you could have somebody there just with an immense number of shares waiting it out and it drop. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. I really think this. Again, it looks
The
explosive.
200 numbers heavy up there, man.
Yeah. But it will not surprise me if it doesn't. We could end up doing this right here. Just keep bouncing back and forth there into something happens explosive with the market, right? So we'll see. Anything's possible. Tesla does its own thing, and but yeah, it can go either way there. All right, what else? Okay, I think we're all set for right now. Chris, FTNT, we looked at earlier. I don't like that ticker. We've seen it plenty of times in the past too. It doesn't trade very well as far as volume. So volume is very light. So you got to be careful on this thing. It is tradable today. It is in play. They had earnings last night, so definitely in play. But just be careful with the spread and everything else on this ticker, and be careful with the number of shares you take, right? But for my strategy, the 5-minute ORB, and you have a stock that trades like this where it's very spready, the 5-minute ORB could be a problem. And when you're not getting great volume, that could be a problem too. So you need those things. So, but yeah, be careful depending on your trading style. I like the gap up, and if this thing is an overreaction, man, I love shorting these type of tickers, but that's going to happen later on 10, 30, 11 if you're going to get that type of drop, right? You got to wait to see what the sentiment is like and what are people thinking of this ticker. They think it's an overreaction, or people going to take profit and drop it down. It doesn't happen right at the market open. It could be a lot of fake outs for something like that. All right, guys, let's get over to our community events and announcements. We'll come back and fine tune this list. Here we go.
All right. Every Monday night, you've got onboarding and technology with my man Carlos. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern, open to all membership levels. So even if you're a trial member, come in and check it out. It's especially created and put on for newer members to get their feet wet in the community. As we mentioned already, Trading the Open by Brian last night is already posted, so check that out if you haven't had a chance to. And then next Tuesday, you've got Thor talking about using Camarilla pivots to help you trade. Psychology tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern. Note the special time since she's in Europe. We have her a little bit earlier. Craig is going to be talking about identifying your deepest fears in trading. And then along a similar line, Mike next week, 8 p.m. back to the normal time, is going to be talking about overcoming your fear of money. And I'm going to say it right now, guys. After I get through with this, I am going to mute because I've got thunderstorms all around me. I don't know if you've been able to hear it, but my dog is going crazy. She hates storms, so expect her to bark because I just heard another one. Anyway, I love storms as well. My dog does not. All right. Did we skip a slide there, brother? Mentorship on Thursday at 11 a.m. with John and 8 p.m. with Thor. TradingTerminal.com, where we are assembling a all-in-one place for tools for the active trader, everything from the scanners to the replay simulators. We've got Insider, which shows you retail flow, politicians, and what trades they're taking. Apparently, I can't speak right now either. And institutions, hedge fund managers, and such. So be sure to check that out at tradingterminal.com. The Trading Summit filling up. We're getting tickets selling pretty quickly right now. So San Diego, March 2nd and 3rd. Come see us. 2-day event. We will be live trading, having a lot of presentations, panel discussion with all the mods there and everything else. So be sure to check that out. If you are watching on YouTube and you haven't been in the room, use the promo code PreMarket24. That's 24. If you would take that down, Carlos, and go to the main screen, that would be awesome. PreMarket24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership, which is 7 calendar days in the room, 5 trading days. Does not auto renew. It is a one-time payment.
You want me to go to the main to the
No, never mind
website
at this point.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. Let's see what we got going on here. So right now we have Meta, we have Tesla, we have Nvidia, we have Uber, we have Baba. Uber's going right there. It looks like it wants to go towards the high of the day. We have Baba, Google, and also Microsoft. So all right, pretty decent active list right now. I mean, it's a lot to watch, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, we'll fine tune this in a little bit. We have plenty of time, so I'm gonna go through some levels now, and if you guys see something you like, you could throw it back out and we could take a look at it as well. Let's start here with Meta, guys. Meta looking really good this morning. At the moment, we're gonna mark over here 197.03, and then towards the bottom we do have 180.07. So again, just really stuck within this range, only adding something towards the top and the bottom, which would right in the same little island we have going on here. So I think you're pretty much set right now. Again, volume not looking all that, but Meta has been, man, it's been very, very nice, very explosive. And let's see what it does. It's been holding for the last 4 days, trying to stay above this 185 and head higher. Let's see if it can actually pull that off. That is a big, big move after earnings. They had an incredible pop there, and that pop coming after a huge run since November. So very nice for them. Here is Tesla, guys. Again, very active pre-market activity. Started doing Tesla things already, as you can see here, trading 2.4 million shares traded. And as you know, this daily looking very explosive. Potentially could be a nice breakout on here, or just sideways. We might just go sideways until we actually get the next leg up or down on this. We'll see what happens. But Tesla looking very good right now. The big level you have here, guys, is this. What is this? This is exactly 196. 196.92, right? 196, 197. So this is where a lot of the resistance has been building up. I mean, just look at the last couple of days, slamming into this, and the range keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Now the volume slightly lower, so we have to pay attention here. If we're going to get a breakout, you're going to see that volume, kind of increase. You're going to get a little more than average. So be on the lookout for that. But this is looking very, very nice this morning. So might not happen today, but I think it can happen potentially if we see any kind of strength, especially from the market combined at the same time. That can do very well. Did my camera freeze? It did. Let's see here. Yeah, am I frozen? Yeah, I'm definitely frozen. All right. We'll try to fix that in a second. Let's take a look here. And Nvidia is next. So Nvidia at the moment, guys, we do have a high of the pre-market over at 225.25. So we will mark a level there. We'll slam a level there. And then towards the bottom, we do have highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. And then right over here, guys, we do have 219.40 is a decent level as well. So towards the bottom, you got plenty of stuff here. Previous day close as well. I mean, you are set. This thing, another great ticker, trading very, very well. Let's head to the left here and see at least a couple of levels towards the top here. Again, this 225 225 is a big level. A lot of resistance happening there. We are going off April, right? April last year, you can see that there. And then above that, we do have the next daily level I see is 228, right? 228 39, actually 228.82 might actually be 229. So that's the next level I see of possible resistance on the daily there for Nvidia. Uber, guys, I'm hoping, I'm giving this the benefit of the doubt that it can trade well today. It hasn't in the past. It doesn't trade well at all. It's a horrible daily trading ticker. They have a lot going on for them today. Good earnings. They blew out their earnings, as Nor mentioned, well above expected. Good forecast going forward. I mean, just everything going for them this morning, gapping up nicely, 7.8. I have the pre-market 38.01. If we're looking above that, just in case we can get going, we are going to go to the left and head over to December, February timeframe. We got a couple of things on here. Big level over here, obviously at 41, and then right in here we got a midpoint right around 39.11. Right, so 39.11 seems to be a good one there. Couple of touches there. It's not a big one like this one, 40.91, but you know that's far out. We're sitting at 37.61. So we'll see if we can stretch that out up there towards the bottom. Now, if we do sell off and this is an overreaction, which again, based on the numbers, it shouldn't be. Everything looks so good there as far as earnings. 36.59, a great area there. We have touched that a couple of times on the way down here and on the way up for support and resistance. So you want to have that there as well. Let's see here. We'll look at Baba. Baba this morning, what do we have going on? I am looking at high of the pre-market 110.21. So 110.21. Towards the bottom, we do have our highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. I like the pre-market action on Baba today, guys. We got 1.2 million shares traded on it. So that's more volume than what we've seen in a very long time out of these guys. So that's interesting there. Towards the bottom of this price action, you are set. Just going to mark down the low of the pre-market just to have that there. So we'll slam a level at 104.50. That's good there. And then I think you're pretty much set, man. I think you're ready to go on this. I like this area here, but this level is pushing it. You know, this is a really a minor. Don't put a lot of weight on this level. It's 108.90. But I do like the fact that it's midpoint between the high of the pre-market and the price action now. So we might see something there. And actually, I didn't even look did not even look at the pre-market activity. You got something going on there right now. All right, so no coincidence why we got a couple of things happening here. But it's only one date that I see at the moment that's doing that. So, but it's the only thing you have. Like if you look at this daily, there's nothing else. You gapped up to here. You never actually fell down here. So that's the only thing you really have to go by. So I guess people are using that level, that 109 on there. So that looks good. Let's look at Google this morning. Again, tons of volume, 1.8 million shares traded. And this thing is cranking. As you can see here, low of the pre-market. I'm going to leave it alone for now because we might actually get to the lows of yesterday or the day before. Right, we got plenty of levels down here. If we continue to drop here, the next level that I see that could be interesting is 100 actually. 104 could be nice. And then obviously you got the big level here, which again I don't think we'll get to. That's 97.56. But anything is possible with this type of market. And we have 105 in between here. And then you have your highs and the resistance area that we have not been able to break out of. I mean, Google's just struggling, gapping up, slamming against this many times and not able to break out of that and seeing some action turning south this morning for them. So yeah, got some good volume at the moment, almost 2 million. Hopefully today they can trade well. And that's been the problem with these guys. They don't trade very well. So Google's going down, Microsoft is going up, at least at the moment. Good times. Let's take a look here, guys. at Microsoft, I do like their activity today. I think they got probably one of the best pre-market actions outside from Google, which is starting to really get going. They got a really decent pre-market activity. I'm gonna mark down the low of the pre-market 269.40, and then the high at the moment we're going to look at 273.58. So those two levels there, looks like Microsoft wants to go up and retest that high of the pre-market at the moment. Let's get something above that just in case we are going to rip through that. We're looking at a 262, 276.62, and then above that we're looking at 282. Again, this will be a stretch, but we're ready. We're prepared. Rather be prepared than not on your levels. There it is, 282, and then you can see how that those two levels have been an important situation there for Microsoft a couple of times. All right, that is our list, guys. That is our list so far. Some really active stuff this morning with Google, Microsoft, Baba, even Baba. I mean, 1.2 million. Uber is good. Nvidia, Tesla's going to be, Tesla, and then we have Meta, which not doing a whole lot right now, but has tons of potential. Man, a lot to watch today. Not compared to yesterday, because yesterday we didn't have a whole lot in the morning. Things got better a little bit after, but definitely a whole lot to watch. Um, Gonzalez, that's good. All right, excellent, guys. I did not trade Tesla yesterday. No, I did not trade Tesla. Mark is asking, what state am I from? Well, I live in New Jersey, but I grew up in New York. So, but I live in Jersey. Norma's down in Texas. And yeah. All right. Anything else, guys? Anything else you guys like this morning? 9:04. We got plenty of times. Time to go through some stuff here. Carlos, do you think the volume is too low on to trade coin? See, coin is not all about the volume anymore. It's a lot about the way this ticker trades, because we've seen great volume, and actually they get decent volume. Like for a daily type stock, they do 21 million when they're in play. Like here, they got 43. So that's not bad. That's not bad volume, right? Amount. The issue is the way they trade. Man, these guys don't trade very well. They're very, very choppy. If you look at their intraday action yesterday, everything kind of had a this at towards the middle of the day. But they trade very choppy, man. Is what I feel. I don't like their price action. Coin is the better one though, out of all of them, out of Mara, out of Riot. Like if you are going to trade something in this Bitcoin type play, this will be the one. I think. I don't think there's anyone that looks better than this one, at least from my knowledge. So. Yeah, camera's frozen. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm not gonna bother to try to
I
figure it
just
out.
noticed.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I made it worse probably. Oh, battery's dead. That's why. Change the battery. That's what it is. All
Takes a lot of power to show that beard.
right. um all right, excellent. QCOM, do they have anything going on? QCOM, no.
Mm,
No.
no volume, guys.
Dead. And it's again not a great ticker. All right, I see our moderators got some stuff going on here. Let's see who we have so far. We have Peter and Thor, and IPOs for today, and we have none. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so we'll wait for more moderators to read that out. And for the most part, we are looking good, guys. So hopefully today we have a better open. It seems like it's going to be. Seems like it's going to be a
Yeah,
better
today will
open,
be better. We're not
right?
laying in wait for
I mean,
Jay
just look.
Powell to speak all day.
Look at the SPY yesterday. I mean, this was just horrible. And the day before was the same thing, just sideways action. Then finally we broke out of this, and then we'll see today if we get back to some normal trading activity that we have seen over the last couple of days. Zoom. Let's take a look here. Zoom. ENPH will be interesting. Yeah, I have ENPH here. I do like their gap up this morning. They're not a great trading stock, and I don't, the spread is it's not ideal. It's not horrible, but it's not ideal, right? $240 stock is expensive stocks usually have a higher spread like this one. The problem is, man, we only get 6 million per day. So unless today we're gonna do more, a lot more than that, that's gonna be an issue, right? And only 190 so far. That's not looking too exciting for them to close that spread even tighter. So we'll have to see at 50 cents, 40 cents there, 50 cents. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure.
So Rob on YouTube is asking, do you guys have any tips for quickly finding a catalyst? I'm struggling on that when practicing the ABCD technique. I don't quite understand the question. Catalysts that we generally are looking for is what we're doing in the pre-market show here, and those are not things that you act upon quickly. Just remember, we do get breaking news things throughout the day. You go to tradingterminal.com, you can get the squawk, which is breaking news and comes out very quickly. Is it the fastest? Sometimes it beats other news sources. Sometimes it's a little bit behind other, it's faster than the news you're used to. Does it beat trading? Some of the professional stuff that people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for, maybe sometimes. But anyway, point is, when you're trading, especially, and you mentioned an ABCD type of strategy, you're not looking for a catalyst for the move. It's a continuation. That's the catalyst has come at some point earlier, and it continues the move up in that pattern. So you don't have to be the fastest, but I mean, obviously that squawk will help. If you go to tradingterminal.com, you can check that out.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. ATVI, we do have Danny G. We do have ATVI here, and I think it looks good this morning. Very, very active, man. 5.4 million, down 3%. The last couple of days they've been bouncing back and forth. So I do like these guys. I might actually replace Uber with them, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, they're top possible actually because they have definitely news, a lot going on, and they also have again just ton of volume this morning. So I mean, if we look at our list here as we wait for more moderators to throw out their list, and Brian will be on in a few minutes. We have Meta, which today looks impressive. Tesla is good. Nvidia,
crank.
yeah, starting to get going here. Wants to go green, looks like. But yeah, it's man. What is this level here? It is exactly 197. Did we actually hit 200? So no, 200 is right over here. Here's 200. We got pretty close 2 days ago. Right, so we'll throw that level there. That's going to be a psychological level. I guarantee you that. I can only wait to see the ask if we get on there. And then we have 198. Yeah, right.
People have orders that they've just put there. So
yeah. And then we got it to 199 something looks like there. So yeah, it's gonna be something. Let's see. And again, the range it keeps getting tighter and tighter, man. Tighter and tighter, and we still have the same amount of volume being processed. So it is getting primed. Let's see if it can actually do it. And don't be surprised, guys. We've seen this too, where it'll come up to 200. It'll do what it does. Hit a couple of stuff on there, and then just come back down. We've seen that plenty of times. So just be ready for anything. Be prepared and don't be surprised on whatever it decides to do. That's the one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to be surprised because you should know that anything is possible here. I see Amazon on deck. Microsoft is really good. So Microsoft is on there. Amazon. Amazon is doing pretty much what a lot of these other tickers are doing at the moment. So I don't have space for right now. I have way too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 on here already that I kind of like. Google will probably be the one that I would not have on this list, but man, they're on fire right now, not in a good way. Down 5% and looking to go even lower. Hopefully, at least some action for us.
Going down in flames.
Yeah, hopefully, at least some action for us by the time we get off the pre-market show here. But yeah, they are active guys, so that's definitely on there. And Microsoft going the other direction. So great stuff. No 200 print since December. Okay, excellent, Master Chief. Yeah, so they didn't get it. Yeah, well, should be exciting, man. AMD woke up.
Maybe today is the day.
Yeah, it looks good for today, man. It really does. At least to go test it, it does look good for that. So we will see. Definitely on top of the list here.
Might struggle with the market down 0.5% this morning. So
that's one of the things. Like we need the market to be on its side, right? Not against it. That's going to help that momentum because people. I mentioned before, people feel more optimism if they see the SPY going up, they feel, better about buying into things. So that can definitely help. Uh, Brian, his list is in. We got a couple of moderators with their list in. Perfect. Let's bring this over. Guys, I'm going to bring our list to take a look at what the moderators are watching. If you haven't done so already over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. We would love to be over 200 likes. That is kind of like our the number that we like to stay above if we can. So thank you for that. All right, let's disable this video, and I'm going to bring over our moderators list. Going to resize this, and we will, 1 second, bring this right over here. Okay, excellent. So, no, Google had earnings already. Yeah, Google had earnings last week. It was last week we had the big week, I think, all the week before. But yeah, Google had earnings already. So, all right, guys, here we go. Here is the list. So far we have Peter reporting no IPOs today. His list: AMD, Apple, Tesla, Uber, Google, and Microsoft. Those last three are his secondary. Thor is looking at Tesla, Baba, AMD, and the Pivot Alert bot. Eamon will be looking at Amazon and Meta, potential longs for both of those. Brian has AT, VI, Uber, Tesla, Google, AMD, or Nvidia on his list, right? So both of those moving pretty good this morning. I do have Nvidia. It's looking very nice. So that's what we have so far, guys. We'll wait for see if any other moderators come with their list, but for the most part, Brian will be getting set up to go to get on the mic and kind of go to the stuff he likes this morning, and see what's happening there. So far my list, guys, this is what I have. I mean, I think it's gonna be a great day today, much better than the last two that we've seen, at least for the market open. Yesterday's market towards afternoon got pretty good. Here's Microsoft. We have Google continues to drop, Uber, Nvidia. I missed Baba. We have Baba on deck as well. Tesla, and we have Meta. So that looks good there. ATVI is a very strong possible on my list. Not liking how the pre-market's just kind of stalling at the moment, but they have an insane volume. Let's see if they can trade well after the bell. Another one that people might like is ENPH today. These guys are up 8%. So we'll see what develops out of that. So some good possibles there as well as we get going this morning. So what is a yes or no? That's okay. We answered that already. Just going to some stuff here. Okay, perfect, guys. On YouTube, our friends Google AI chatbot gave inaccurate information in a company ad. For real, Chris? Did that really happen? That'll be funny, man. Reminds me of the Elon Musk situation with the car when he broke the window. Not good. So that's what took place. Okay, that's funny. I mean, that shouldn't be. I get it. It might be embarrassing, whatever, for the second, but that should not create this disaster. It's got to be something else going on, because I can't see that spy balloon. Yes, it could be the spy balloon, but Shoto, that's probably maybe more people are finding out. Maybe I wasn't the only one that didn't know last week.
All right. Do we have Brian?
Brian is no, waiting for Brian to come on.
All right. There he is. Take care, guys. Trade safe.
All right. Good morning, Brian. Hope you're well, my friend.
Let's see what's going on with Google. Certainly looking weak. Some news came out at 8:35 that caused this drop. All right, well, interesting. ATVI sold off and now it's come back up. Uber's looking a little bit strong. I guess they had their earnings. Tesla looking a little weak. So we're just going to have to see what happens here. Markets are gapping down a little bit. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Let's just see here. What are people saying? Um, okay. Well, Baba's gapping up, so it's not a rising devil. If anything, it would be a fallen angel. Let's see. I kind of looked at it earlier. I didn't. It's gapping up, but it's trading below the VWAP, so that would make it a lead balloon trade if you want to go by my what I call things. That's possible. They're really leaning into Google. Huh, interesting. Thank you. Glad you guys, people seem to enjoy it. They're really trying to hold this 103 level on Google. No, ATVI again is gapping down. So, and it's above the VWAP. So that would make it a Phoenix trade. So possible some upside there. But as I mentioned, those trades are a little more tricky. And it's down for a reason. They're really defending this 103 on Google. Let's see here. Tesla's looking a little weak going into the open. A rising fallen angel trade could be Uber. It is. It's gapping up. It's trading above the VWAP. Yeah, we'll see what NVIDIA does at drop at 8 o'clock. I think there's still strength in NVIDIA. Like I said, I'll wait. We still got 9 minutes till they open. Sorry, I will share a screen here. So that's what I'm looking at on this computer right now. Just looking at the gap ups, the gap downs, little bit of pre-market big volume. Keeping an eye on Google. What else? Right now, I'm just, we're just kind of wait and see mode now. I'm kind of finished looking at all the stocks here. Here's some AI stocks down here, BBAI, GNS, just, what do you call it? Wall Street Bets play. Let's go to the scanners now. I don't know if this is, this could be a little bit of a hangover from the Powell speech. There was a lot of debate about whether that was, a lot of people took away that he was kind of, what do you say, bullish or dovish, if you want to call it that. Then some people thought he really didn't change his tone at all. What's that? XLE had a big day yesterday. Uber's looking kind of interesting right now. We'll see. We'll see if it still looks that good when we get closer to the open. Sort of looking like it might. It's already had a big run though. This is the problem with Uber.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How's everybody?
Very good. Very good. Very good. Market's not doing much.
Uber had the earning last night, I think, huh?
Yeah, Uber had earnings, yes.
Dara is doing something crazy, huh? Nice. Tesla, what's Tesla up to? Tesla is pretty much flat. NVIDIA and AMD kind of flat. Job numbers through the roof. So there was job numbers. What happened? There's still a lot of jobs.
So lots of jobs. There's a pretty big bid on or ask on Uber. Uber's got a fair amount of has got a pretty strong looking level 2 to the upside. Some stuff there at 38.
Perfecto.
Let's see what else. Free. Huh.
All right. So Uber is interesting for opening range break up right now. It's setting up very nicely above the VWAP. Let's see. We have a level of 38.52. Actually, we have a lot of levels nearby.
TFL. I think they're just at whole numbers.
Other than that, Tesla, what's the ATVI up to?
Nothing right now. It's kind of just sold off, but then it's come back up. It's trading above the VWAP. NVIDIA is selling off a little bit here. All right, we've got a little more than 2 minutes to the open, so I'm just going to be watching these candles to see what they might be telling us the last couple of minutes, if anything. I think Uber still looks pretty strong. Oh crap! Google just lost 103 in a big way.
Who?
Google.
Google. AMD, TQQ. See where is up to.
There's a big volume there on Google. That drop. Somebody really dumped on it there. Wow. Okay, I'm watching Google, watching Uber. There's a gap to fill on Uber.
On Google.
Yeah, combination of Google and Uber.
Using the app on Google.
Yeah.
Uber. Yeah, Uber is interesting, but Uber, to be honest with you, has been trading really choppy. So be a little bit mindful of that. Looks really good, very deceiving, so to speak. But you know, in the past, I always got chopped up on that. So be careful on that a little bit.
Yeah, NVIDIA is coming back up. ETV is looking weak. It's hard to say. Okay, I'm gonna primarily watch Google and Uber. See what Tesla does too. All right, here we go. Last 10 seconds.
I'm gonna probably stay a couple of minutes to dust settle. Let's see what Uber is doing.
Settle.
Dust to settle.
I'm short Google at 103. Let's just see if we can get a drop here now. I'm just worried about this 102.50 level. Seems to have been as held. Just a small size,
strong
because I'm not that convicted to this. Yeah, NVIDIA popped up.
I'm gonna get a long on NVIDIA 225.
Yeah.
See if you can go to 226. So much for I'm waiting for a few minutes.
Okay, I'm tempted to get out of Google. It's at the View app.
Tesla might be also opening break up.
Uber. I'm out of Google. I don't like the way it's trading.
All right, NVIDIA is popping. Beautiful, guys. Beautiful. Getting out of NVIDIA some.
Nice.
226 to 27.
NVIDIA never fails to. There's the rejection.
Really nicely.
Yeah.
Tesla might go longer. I think it's really holding this dojis on the first 2 minutes. Might be a pop